Welcome to this explainer where we're deconstructing the McDonald's empire. Today, you can find a McDonald's on almost every corner of the globe. Literally, millions of people walk through their doors every single day. But here's the really fascinating truth about all this. McDonald's didn't become a global empire just by selling hamburgers. Actually, behind those iconic golden arches is one of the most powerful, highly structured business strategies ever created. So, how exactly did a small, simple restaurant become a worldwide phenomenon? That's the big question we're looking at today. It's a massive curiosity gap, right? Because we all know the brand. We've all been there. But the actual mechanics of how it grew from just one single location into this absolute global powerhouse, well, it's an incredible story all about systems, scaling, and some seriously clever strategy.
All right, let's start with part one, the speedy service system.
So the original McDonald's was actually founded by two brothers, Richard and Maurice McDonald. And their true genius, it wasn't culinary at all. It was entirely operational. You have to remember, back then, traditional restaurants were slow. They had these massive, complicated menus. But the brothers, they completely stripped all that down. They built what they called the speedy service system. And it was built on four main pillars: speed, consistency, simplicity, and efficiency. They literally turned a standard restaurant kitchen into a highly efficient assembly line. And the ultimate goal of that assembly line was super simple: deliver the exact same experience every single time. This hyper-optimized system was totally revolutionary for its time. It meant that you, the customer, knew exactly what you were going to get, how fast you were going to get it, and exactly what it would taste like, no matter when you showed up. And this absolute predictability, that became the absolute bedrock foundation for their entire future empire.
Which brings us to section 2, the franchise expansion.
Because look, having a great system in one location doesn't automatically make you a global empire. Enter Ray Kroc. He was a milkshake machine salesman who stumbled upon the brothers' highly optimized restaurant in 1954, and he instantly saw its massive potential. Throughout the late 50s, Kroc pushed for really aggressive expansion, way faster than the brothers actually wanted. And this clash in vision naturally led to a major business disagreement. Eventually, in 1961, Kroc officially bought out the brothers, taking full control of the company's future direction. So the crucial question is, how did Kroc plan to expand so fast? The answer is franchising. Basically, this is a business model where you expand by allowing independent owners to use your brand, your systems, and your processes. In exchange, they pay a fee and a cut of their sales. For Kroc, this was the primary mechanism for truly rapid, explosive growth. To put that into perspective, think about a traditional restaurant chain. It grows slowly, right? The parent company has to spend its own capital to buy the land, build the building, hire the staff for every single new location. But the McDonald's franchise model, it acted like a rocket ship. It leveraged the capital and the hard work of independent owners. This allowed the brand to multiply its footprint incredibly fast, all without corporate taking on all the financial risk themselves. But here's the catch. Rapid expansion usually leads to a massive drop in quality. To prevent that, Kroc enforced a strict standardization blueprint. We're talking the exact same basic products, recognizable branding, incredibly strict operational rules, and a completely predictable customer experience. The real genius here wasn't just opening hundreds of restaurants. It was making sure that a burger in California tasted exactly the same as a burger in New York. They rigidly enforced the brothers' original system across every single new franchise. And as this consistency spread across the country, something kind of magical happened with their marketing. The recognizable branding, specifically those iconic golden arches, well, they stopped being just a sign you'd see on the highway. They forged a deep emotional connection. They became this symbol of comfort, familiarity, and reliability. People really connected with the brand, transforming it from just a quick convenience stop into a beloved cultural staple in America. Okay, let's move on to section 3, the real estate empire. Now we're really going to peel back the layers of the onion here. What business is this company actually in? I mean, we've been talking about burgers, fries, assembly lines, but the strategy that truly cemented their incredible financial wealth actually had very little to do with the kitchen. While direct food sales are obviously important, their real estate holdings are the true financial powerhouse here. The company figured out that instead of just collecting a standard franchise fee, they could actually buy the physical land and the building themselves, and then lease that exact property back to the franchisee. So the franchisee is paying rent to the parent company, often based on a percentage of their total sales. By controlling the most valuable restaurant locations, think busy intersections and prime real estate, they secured an unbelievable financial asset.
And for the consumer, it meant convenience plus accessibility equals dominance. By commanding the best locations everywhere, they made it incredibly easy for customers to choose them over literally any competitor. That drove up sales, which, you guessed it, drove up the rent collected by corporate. Brilliant, right?
Moving on to Section 4, a global blueprint. So they absolutely conquered America with standardized systems, franchising, and this brilliant real estate strategy. But how did such a rigid American system cross international borders? Well, they didn't just cross a few borders, they basically conquered the globe. Today, they have a massive presence deeply embedded across North America, Europe, Asia, South America, and Africa. They expanded way beyond just being a fast food chain to become a universal brand recognized by literally billions of people. But pulling this off, that required a major strategic pivot. Here is the brilliant tension they had to navigate, maintaining a consistent global identity versus local cultural adaptation. Think about it. If they were too rigid, they'd fail in countries with completely different dietary habits and tastes. But if they changed too much, they'd lose the efficiency and the brand power that made them so successful in the first place. So, how did they balance it? Simple. Familiarity meets local flavor. They maintained those core operational systems, the speed, the cleanliness, the golden arches, the iconic core menu items like the fries. But they adapted their specific menu offerings and their marketing to respect and really appeal to local cultures. This delicate balancing act is exactly what turned a rigid American system into a highly adaptable global chameleon.
Finally, Section 5, the ultimate business lesson. We've traced the whole timeline here, from a single burger stand to a real estate giant all the way to a global cultural chameleon. Synthesizing all these layers together gives us the true recipe for an empire. It wasn't just about making the best-tasting burger. No, it was about standardization for predictable quality, franchising to leverage others and grow super fast, branding for that deep emotional connection, convenience through owning the very best real estate, scalability by designing a model meant to multiply, and finally, local adaptation, knowing exactly when to bend the rules to conquer new markets. And that leads us to this really powerful concluding thought. McDonald's didn't just build a fast food chain, it built an unstoppable, repeatable system. A system so well engineered that it could travel across borders, cultures, and entire continents without ever losing its core identity. That right there is what turned a small American restaurant into a true global empire. Which leaves us with one final provocative question to think about. Looking at this incredible history of operational excellence, what systems can you build to scale your own ideas? Whether you're running a business, managing a team, or honestly just organizing your own life, the power of a repeatable, scalable system is undeniable. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this sparks some fresh ideas for your own systems.